standing here in the magnificent Abbey of Monte Cassino, which is really the mother church of the whole Benedictine movement around the world. We've been immersed in the world of Benedict because we're filming for this part of our Pivotal Players series. We were at San Anselmo a couple days ago in Rome, which is one of their headquarter churches. Yesterday, a magnificent trip to Subiaco, which is the cave where the young Benedict stayed for several years, kind of preparing himself for his spiritual life. And then here, where he established his first really great monastery, and it's been as I say, the mother church of the Benedictine movement all over the world. We talked a bit about the rule today in my stand-ups. At the heart of the rule is humility. Benedict talks about his famous degrees of humility. The principal virtue, you might say, of the monastic life is humility. Now, why? Well, because pride is the mother of all sin. If pride is the great sin of Adam, the correction to that is humility. Now, what doesn't it mean? It doesn't mean a sort of willful self-abnegation. It doesn't mean what we call the false humility. Rather, it's an emptying out of the self so as to allow God to act. Thomas Merton talks about the false self. That's the ego that most of us operate out of most of the time. It's my projects, my plans, my aspirations. You're standing in the way of what I want to achieve. That's how most of us live our lives. Well, that's the phony self or the false self. When that self is put down or put to death, then the true self can emerge, which is what Paul talks about. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives within me. A new center emerges. And now we can say with St. Paul, there's a power already at work in me that can do infinitely more than I can ask or imagine. See, that old I is the false self. What I can ask or imagine, who cares? Empty that out, and now God can accomplish what He wants to. And you'll be far more yourself when you let that happen. See, there's the paradox of the spiritual life. A lot of people get stuck at an earlier stage. They might say, oh, that religion is all about just, putting yourself down and, I'm nobody. No, that's the preparation. That's like going through training to get ready for the season. It's the necessary ascetical emptying out of the old self to allow the true self to emerge. And see, when you do that, great things can happen. Think of Benedict coming here with a few, followers. And from his spiritual commitment comes the whole Benedictine movement across the centuries. Just a last thought as I stand here. We were here 3 years ago filming for the Thomas Aquinas episode because the young Thomas Aquinas, so some, 800 years after Benedict, came here to this place. He was born not that far from here. And the young Aquinas spent 9 years here at Monte Cassino, learning the rudiments of the Benedictine life. And I just love that sense of the spiritual life unfolding now across the centuries. And now, some 8 centuries later, here we are to talk about both Aquinas and Benedict. So it's the beauty of it, it's the wonder of it, how God's Spirit unfolds now across the ages. So it's been very moving for all of us to be at this holy place and many others. And we continue to pray for all of you at these places. Please keep praying for us, and God bless you.